Hi, today I'll present my work on evaluating aggregation strategies in graph neural networks. Aggregation is a fundamental component uh, of GNNs, and I explored how different aggregation methods impact performance, efficiency, and generalization. I also extended the study by implementing a recent method called channel-attentive graph neural network. So in graph neural networks, each node updates its representation by combining information from its neighbors. This process is called aggregation, and it directly affects how well the model captures graph structure. While many advanced aggregation methods have been proposed, it is not always clear whether they actually outperform simpler ones. So, the key motivation of this work is to understand whether more complex aggregation mechanisms truly provide benefits. So, I used the PubMed citation network dataset, where each node represents a scientific paper and edges represent citations. The dataset contains around 19,000 nodes and 500 dimensional features and three classes. I implemented all models using PyTorch and PyTorch geometric and trained them for like 200 epochs. The goal was to keep the setup consistent so that only the aggregation method affects the result. I evaluated four common GNN models. GCN uses normalized averaging of neighbors, and GraphSAGE allows a flexible aggregation like mean, sum, and max. And graph attention networks introduces attention to weigh neighbors differently, and GIN uses some aggregation followed by a neural network. So these models represent a range from simple to more expressive aggregation mechanisms. From the results, GCN achieved the best test accuracy, showing that simple averaging works very well on this dataset. GraphSAGE was the fastest model, making it efficient. GAT, despite using attention, did not improve performance and had higher runtime. This suggests that attention does not always provide a benefit, especially on structured datasets like PubMed. So, to better understand the impact of aggregation, I performed an ablation study using GraphSAGE. In this experiment, I kept the overall architecture exactly the same and only changed the aggregation function. This is important because it allows us to isolate the effect of aggregation without other factors influencing the result. I tested three common aggregation methods, mean, sum, and max. From the results, we can see that sum aggregation performed the best overall, achieving the highest test accuracy while also being the fastest. Mean aggregation was very stable with slightly lower performance but consistent behavior. On the other hand, max aggregation achieved the highest validation accuracy, but did not translate into better test performance, which suggests possible overfitting. Overall, this experiment shows that more expressive or complex aggregation methods do not always lead to better generalization, and simple methods like sum or mean can often be more reliable. Then I explored a recent method called channel-attentive GNN. Instead of treating all feature dimensions equally, this model learns to assign importance to different feature channels. This means the model can focus more on useful features and suppress less important ones. I implemented a simplified version by adding a channel attention layer after aggregation. And here I compare the baseline GraphSAGE model with the channel attentive version. From the results, we can see that the channel attentive model does not improve performance and in fact achieves slightly lower test accuracy. However, both models show very similar convergence behavior as seen in the training curves, meaning they learn at a comparable rate. And in terms of runtime, the channel attentive model is slightly faster, but the difference is quite small and not practically significant. And overall, this suggests that adding channel-wise attention does not provide a meaningful benefit for this data set, and the simpler baseline model remains a strong and reliable choice. So there are three main findings. The first one, simple aggregation methods like mean and sum are highly effective. Second, sum aggregation provided the best balance between accuracy and efficiency. Third, increase in model complexity does not always improve performance, which is an important insight for practical applications. So in conclusion, aggregation plays an important role in GNN performance. However, simpler methods can often match or outperform more complex ones, according to this research or the assignment I did. This is especially important in scenarios where efficiency and scalability matter. Therefore, choosing the right level of model complexity is critical. And this study has some limitations, like I used only one data set and a single random seed. And so future work could include testing on multiple data sets or running multiple seeds and exploring more advanced aggregation methods. And it could also be interesting to evaluate performance on more complex or noisy graphs. So yeah, that's all. And thank you for watching this video and for your review.